Thank you for coming to the Dougherty County School System mid-month board briefing. Mr. Superintendent, do we have any presentation or public comment?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Board members will review the agenda items to give board members the opportunity to ask any questions or make comments. We will need an executive session to discuss personnel and student matters. Okay. Board members, do you have any questions or comment about the agenda? Item 1 for the regular board meeting held on January 12th. Hearing none. Item 2. Item 3. Item 4, which is the new 2026-2027 school calendar. Item 5. Item 6. Seven. Okay, item 8, or I know we have a presentation on the bond also. And item 10, any question about the finance report? Mr. Superintendent, I did have, but we were discussing the building and ground F&E design. I know it came to our committee.
Right.
Can you give us an explanation on the design fees, please?
Yes, ma'am. At a previous meeting, we noticed that the program manager for the Westover High School project, the interior design was assumed in that contract. They took on that responsibility, so we avoided the additional fee for the architect to do the interior design. The program manager for the Dougherty High School and the new public safety complex did not. We saw they presented an additional contract for the architect for those two projects. And so the board asked us to table that to get clarification to ensure that that was not an oversight. So we followed up with the program manager, Dukes Evans and Dukes in Acon Construction, to determine whether or not those services should be included, were included in their contract. And they stated that those services are not included in their contract. The contract speaks about the facilitating the purchase and delivery of interior design and fixtures, furnitures, and equipment. And but they did not consider that part of the design. And so those contracts are presented to the board again for consideration. And then the fee, the chair asked about the fee. And of course, you know, we have a sliding scale fee structure that the board approved years ago for design services. And the higher the contract for the design, the lower the fee. So for buildings, when, for example, the Westover building, it's the project cost is it was $50 million, so the design fee is much less. The design percentage is much less. On a interior design contract, you may be talking about $1 million or $2 million in FF&E, so the percentage is higher based on the sliding scale. That's why those percentages are higher than you typically see in a building design contract. Did that answer your question, Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
At our next meeting, can you build a ground that we can go over those?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Just so we can be transparent.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Superintendent? Okay. Mr. Superintendent, are you ready for your report?
Well, I was going to do. We have one more. I was going to go over a few things on the item 10. But we can do that during my report as well. We can do that during it's included in my report. We can do it during my report. Yes, ma'am. That'll be fine. All righty. So we'll start with the superintendent's report. Can we go full screen on that? Only there. I've been told I have a face for radio, so I don't need to see my face on the screen. That's okay. Mr. Davis, can you get that? You go ahead and do that, yeah. Well, we'll start, we'll go back to the first page, and, we'll go the other way. All righty, all right, we have the report for, 2029, January 29, 2026. All righty. Right, of course, the vision of the Dougherty County School System is that we're a destination school system that, in collaboration with families and community partners, provides quality education and social development experiences that empowers graduates to be successful and impactful contributors to society. And our mission is to meet the academic and non-academic needs of our students with rigorous and relevant education experiences that equip them to succeed in life. Our discussion topics for the day will ask the Deputy Superintendent, Vincent Davis, to provide an update on our federally identified schools. Then I'll give an update on the strategic plan, give a legislative update on our splash bonds, and then we'll discuss the other topics as listed. And we will need, if it's the board's pleasure, have an executive session for student matters and personnel. Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Dougherty. Good afternoon, board. Good afternoon. Thank you all for this opportunity to share an update on federally identified schools. It is a part of the MOA that we have with the state of Georgia, that we provide an update annually on the progress of our schools that are federally identified. And the state of Georgia identified those schools as in the lowest 5% of schools we have in our district. 3 of those schools, but for different reasons. Alice Coachman is a Tier 4 school, and I'm going to try to go through this pretty swiftly. If you have any questions, please stop me. Alice Coachman is a Tier 4 school, CSI Tier 4. Our alternative school is also a designated school, CSI Alternative. And there are several alternative schools in the state that were federally identified. Martin Luther King is identified as an ATSI school. That simply meant they had a subgroup for them as the students with disabilities that over the course of the 2 or 3 years from 2022, they performed below the state in the lowest 5%. The subgroup did, just the students with disabilities. Okay? Alice Coachman again is Tier 4, and Alice Coachman, when they landed at that status, they will operate that status for 4 years, and so they have not been able to exit. So we're going to kind of give you an update on their progress. We're going to go back a few years to kind of share with you, since some of the CCRPI data has been released, all of it, including their score. We'll look at how Alice Coachman have improved just over the past year, but we're also going to look longitudinally how from 2022 they have made progress to now. The same with Martin Luther King. With South Georgia Regional Achievement Center, because they have so few students, the students in transit, they'll go for 45 days, they'll go back to their school in 90 days. That school has had too few students to give a score. When it's time for testing, there's not enough students at that alternative schools so we can get a score. So we won't be able to provide an update with our alternative school because there's just too few students there, okay? So let's start with Alice Coachman. I kind of want to share some of what we'll share, and I'll move through these slides. I have them kind of back to back, where we'll look at Alice Coachman's performance, and then we'll kind of look at and benchmark it with Tier 4 schools from across the state. There were 10 of them, 10 Tier 4 schools across the state. Alice Coachman was one. 6 of those were elementary, and 4 was middle school. Okay, we're only going to look at for the purpose of benchmarking Alice Coachman's performance, and I think it's really good to do that. The schools that are on that list, Tier 4, have significant challenges. Significant challenges, and a lot of them don't have anything to do with what's going on in the school. Students come from communities where there are really significant challenges. And so if you look at, I actually have those schools listed here. This is not to call any disparage to any of those schools that are listed, just for the sake of the conversation. So when we get into the presentation, you'll see an average of those schools. I won't call those schools out with their performance, but you will see averages, okay? You see Bibb County, Fulton, DeKalb, Savannah, Chattanooga across the state, okay? So here's Alice Coachman. We're going to talk about content mastery. And again, the way you'll see this, and we'll move through the slides pretty swiftly, you'll see content mastery. I have Alice Coachman's performance since 2022. Now, Alice Coachman was identified going back to 2018. The state took 2018 2019, remember COVID happened, and 2022. It did an average of those, and that's how Alice Coachman got to be tier 4. Okay. When you look at what they were in 2022, with their content mastery score, and I'm not going to get all into the specifics with that, you kind of see where they are in 2025. Tremendous progress that Alice Coachman has made over the last 4 years as it relates to their students' proficiency levels on ELA and math. Okay. Here you see it kind of compared, and this is kind of how the presentation is going. You see how they are up to now. We have it where they are compared with an average of the other tier 4 elementary schools. Again, you see that average with the tier 4 elementary started at 22% on that content mastery score to 35. You see how Alice Coachman. Here's English. So let's break down content mastery. Look at a couple of specifics. We're going to look at English and math. This is English. Again, Alice Coachman over the course of the last 4 years, and then you kind of see the benchmark with ELA with the other 2 courses. Again, please stop at any time and I'm about to go through these. This is math. You see a strong 4-year growth in math. 16, that's a 16 point jump from 2022 to 2025. Science is where they saw the largest year-over-year increase at Alice Coachman. You know, and while I'm making this presentation, I probably should have said this at the beginning, just tremendous work from Dr. Mathis and the entire team at Alice Coachman. Because take into consideration that a lot of things are happening in these 4 years. There's turnover of teachers, there are new students, of course, new cohorts of kids that are coming through. There are new standards to implement. It's not just the same playing field every year. The schools have to make adjustments each year. So they really put in some strong school improvement structures at Alice Coachman, Dr. Mathis and her team, as well as Dr. Johns, Dr. Williams, Ms. Didell, and the district team providing support. But none greater than the school. That's where the rubber meets the road in the school building. Here's science. As we look at again, the other tier 4 schools from across the state in the gold bar, and Alice Coachman in the green. I don't want to spend a lot of time on progress. I want to get to one or closing gap. Progress is taking students who of a similar performance ability and compare them against one another. So the State Department take other students that would have had a similar performance history and compare them side by side with other students who perform just like them. And that's where progress comes from, their student growth percentage. And you can see their progress score. So again, these tier 4 schools are schools similar to Alice Coachman. And you see Alice Coachman's progress score. 2022 you won't see on there because there wasn't a progress score in 2022 coming out of COVID. That was like a benchmark year. So we they didn't have the schools across the state didn't get a progress score. Closing gaps, every year schools are required to hit targets for each subgroup, each content area. Alice Coachman hit all their targets. The State Department sets targets for schools. So they have a perfect 100 school. Again, you see the other, when you look at the average of the other tier 4 schools across the state, elementary tier 4 schools. So readiness, and readiness are a lot of factors. That these are CCRPI components, the progress, closing gaps, content mastery, and readiness. There's a lot of components, but a couple I want to lift out of there. For this one in particular, is aligned to our district strategic plan, early literacy. I'll really connect that literacy piece to this part of the presentation. Well, you see readiness, attendance is a part of that. Students reading on grade level is a part of the readiness factor too. So you see Alice Coachman, and then you see Alice Coachman benchmark against other tier 4 schools. Reading. Look at the reading proficiencies at or above grade level from 2022 to 2025. A lot of work to do, but look at the progress. And one of the things we share with Dr. Mathis on a lot of these Alice Coachman is an anomaly because most times improvement is not a straight line. Go up a little bit, down a little bit, up a lot, down a little bit. It's kind of a jagged edge. But a lot of you should see Alice Coachman really moving the needle with the structures they have in place. And here's their overall performance. Here's their overall performance. The CCRPI take all those things we just talked about and put them into one score. CCRPI takes all those components and puts them into one score. You'll see where Alice Coachman was in 2018 when the State Department took 2018, 2019, and 2022 content math and kind of get an average. You'll see where they were in 2018 and where they are now. From a 47.5, and now their overall school score, is a 72.7. Any questions? I'm going to zip through Martin Luther King in a similar fashion, and I don't want Mr. Dodd to look at his watch. I'm going to kind of pick up the pace a little bit. Any questions?
Madam Chair, Mr. Davis. So this is all the subjects that were tested, which is reading, math, and science?
Yes, ma'am, with the Georgia milestone.
Okay, and this is the overall school?
Correct.
Do you have a breakdown of where the strength lies?
We do, and I certainly get that information to you all in the board. We do not on this presentation, but we certainly have a breakdown in terms of the structure or the particular performance area.
The performance.
It would probably be ELA.
Okay,
Probably ELA.
that's a good thing. Do you know the math? I mean, what's the gap for math and reading? I know that's like comparing apples and oranges, but.
Can you see, we don't have to with this one, you gotta go back. Well,
It's stuck. Okay.
Okay. Oh, no.
Okay, here's ELA, where you see 31% of the students who are passing the ELA content standards. Those are content standards.
Okay.
For ELA. We have to move to math. And you see math at 42.3. The reason I say ELA is the strongest is because you have to put this piece into the ELA because our literacy block is very much a part of our literacy component at the schools. So you have content, the curriculum, the ELA curriculum, the English, the ELA piece, and then you have the literacy piece for exiles, which is where this is from.
Now, is this based upon the new rollout or last year?
ELA this year will be a new assessment. So the standards are new this year for ELA, this
Right.
will be a new test.
Right.
So the scores we get this year will actually benchmark ELA this year.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Good question, thank you. Okay, so I want to move, again, when you look at Alice Coachman, I want to put this slide up just for the purpose of again, communicating the progress at Alice Coachman. You'll see in 2018, they have one of the lowest CCRPI scores of any of the Tier 4 schools across the state. And in 2025, they have the highest. If they ran the list today, Alice Coachman would be nowhere near the list.
Ms. Davis, can you tell us if this is based on socioeconomic, from maybe the reason why the scores are going up higher? In the next thing I said, like the area they're coming from, single parent households.
Here's what I can share. Thank you for that question. What I can share, there is a Tier 4, there's a call that we on the state every month, a support call with the Department of Education. They fully get all the district contact Tier 4 schools. And what I can share is the points of contact that work directly with the schools that are on this list come from communities where there are lots of challenges. I can share that.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay, I want to go to Martin Luther King very quickly. If you all okay, I want to pick it up if I can. Martin Luther King was again content mastery. Martin Luther King same slides. With Martin Luther King, I'm going to pull up because they are ATSI school for their subgroup students with disabilities. So on these slides, I'm going to really take a look at the subgroups, the students with disabilities at Martin Luther King. Again, these are students from students who are in self-contained settings, you take the GAA, all the way to our students who are in inclusion classrooms, okay? So you look at Martin Luther King, a lot of work Mr. Johnson and his team is doing at Martin Luther King to really focus on all students and give some really targeted support to our students with disabilities. See, math, content mastery. And again, Mr. Dyer, I don't know if we can share the presentation, but I want to get a math, science for Martin Luther King. Here you see students with disabilities and progress. Again, students of similar performing abilities as they put them side by side with other students who from across the state of Georgia. At or above grade level reading. And again, you see Martin Luther King's CCRPI score, where it was in 2019 and where it is now in 2025. I think that ends the presentation part. So any questions you have?
Board members, any questions? Mr. Davis, I was just noticing most of them for both schools, at 2024 in science, most of the, even with the, always went down. Did something happen? And I know COVID 2020, but 2024.
That's a great question. I can look deeper, more deep into that, but right off I can't think of anything that happened right off. Sometimes when there's a new assessment, a new standard, we'll see a dip like that. But let me take a further look into that and I can tell you, share that with you.
Okay, and if there's anything that we can do as a board to assist the superintendent for the community or is there any suggestions you have for us as a community member and board members that we can help throughout the community? Because when we're talking about the ELA, the reading, things that community members can do.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you all. Thank you again, the school, the leadership at both the schools, and the faculty and staff for this tremendous work, the district team. You all do a lot for schools in terms of each one of our destination schools. The district team, Mr. Dyer, charges us with looking at how we can go above and beyond to provide support to those schools. So to give you a couple cases in point, when we looked at the social workers that the district required for the grant, we didn't just arbitrarily place a social worker at each school. Our schools where we see significant challenges, perhaps have a social worker and a half, or maybe even two social workers, because there's so many challenges that come from outside of the building that we have to address. The same with our district support staff. So our school improvement specialists, content specialists, coordinators, they are in the providing support to teachers, modeling content for teachers. They're doing those things above and beyond what they may be doing at our other schools who may not have a lot of first-year teachers. So the allocation of resources from this board is a lot that you all are doing. There are a lot of opportunities perhaps in the schools we can talk about that perhaps community agencies and wraparound services can come in and continue to provide that support. Mr. Dyer says all the time that it's not just about getting off the list, but it's about putting the structures in place such that schools can thrive long after the list is gone. So that's our goal, that's our work.
Board members, any other questions for? Again, thank you for your team and the hard work. But you know, the community is here. We're trying to just build each community one student at a time. So wherever we can help out, please let us know.
All right, thank you, Mr. Davis, for that thorough report, and it just highlights the challenges that we have, but also certainly highlights the good work that's being done at our federally identified schools, which is indicative of the work being done at most of our schools. And it's a partnership between the district support staff and the school leadership. And we don't always get it right, but we always get better. And that's our goal. And you can see that as evident with the information that Mr. Davis presented. And to Mr. Davis is a little more politically astute than I am, Miss Dr. Hand. When you ask about the socioeconomic challenges, there's a list. The bottom 25% of schools in the state that they're on a list, and 87% of those schools have a student population where at least half of the student population, at least half of the student population come from families that get government assistance. So when we talk about, in our mission statement as the board adopted, is very intentional. We say we meet the academic and non-academic needs of our students because we know there are non-academic barriers, non-academic challenges that, although they're not academic in nature, they certainly impact the students' ability to learn. Homelessness, food insecurity, things of that nature. And so that's why, again, the board adopted a strategic priority of student wellness. We work on the wraparound support needs of our students. Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory says you can't focus on your higher order needs until your basic needs are met. And so those wraparound needs are those basic needs that we have, that some of us take for granted. Decent housing, food to eat, medical care when we need it, preventive care that some of our students don't get. That's why we have the student-based health centers. That's why we have the partnership with Helping Hands with the food. That's why we participate in the community eligibility provision through the school nutrition services, where all of our students eat free breakfast and lunch. So those are some things that we do that some school systems don't have to do, but we don't complain about it. We see the need. We do our best to meet the need so that our students can be prepared to learn when they get in the classroom. Yeah. So Mr. Davis gave a better answer than I did on that, but I'll just shoot it to you straight, and not excuses. Because we don't make excuses. That's why we write so many grants, because the state didn't provide the funding for that. We've received about $60 million in grants for various wraparound supports since 2018, and those funds are being used to help support those students in those wraparound the wraparound support needs that they have. So that was a good question. Mr. Davis gave a great answer, and I just want to break it down just a little bit for those that are not aware. I know the board knows because we talk about it all the time, and you adopted the strategic priority for that reason, but some people listening may not understand why, and I want to make sure they understand the why behind what we do. All right, thank you for that. Thank you again, Mr. Davis, for your work. Of course, our strategic plan, Future Ready, our strategic priorities are early literacy, academic rigor and relevance, again, student wellness, we just spoke about, investment in human capital, and family and community engagement. And these are some of the initiatives that we have. It's kind of small, but we'll give that to you. The plan is in almost the final draft stage. Dr. Finley has done a great job leading that effort. And we have a strategic priority captain over each strategic area. And they hate to see Dr. Finley coming. They laugh as I say that, no, really. But he understands that this is our roadmap. And if we don't get this right, then we won't end up in our desired state. This is how we're going to get from our current state to our desired state. He's done a great job putting this together with the assistance of many quite capable professionals, and I certainly appreciate what they're doing. We'll present I think we're looking at a final plan to be considered by the board in February, and have a little work to do on this, and a little work to do on our core values, core beliefs that we revised, and we'll present those to the board for adoption, and then the rest of the plan, the initiatives and the action plans will be presented for your information. But just as a glance, as an appetizer, one thing that we're going to do is the Office of Student Career Services, and this will be new with this plan, and we're going to focus on the 4 E's: enrollment in post-secondary, employment in a high demand, high wage field, enlistment, and one of our service academies, and entrepreneurship. A 4-year degree is certainly one avenue to success, but it's not the only avenue to success. We want to make sure our students understand the many avenues that they have available to them and help prepare them for whatever path they choose in life. And that office is going to be very intentional about those 4 E's, as we call them: enrollment in post-secondary, employment in a high-demand, high-paying career field, enlistment in one of our armed services, or entrepreneurship. And we're really excited about that. The second is our parent university. We have a lot of parents in our school system that they want what's best for their students. All of them don't know how to help them get what they need. We have a lot of resources. We are not resource poor in the Dougherty County school system. And we have a lot of resources to help students, help our parents, help their children. But sometimes parents don't know. And if they don't know about what's available, they can't take advantage of it. So Parent University is going to do a few things. It's going to provide parents with an opportunity and exposure to know what resources we have to help them and their students. Can provide them with access to the tools that we have available, train them how to best use the tools to support their students at home. And also, there are some resources, and Mr. Fields can express our frustration with the free Wi-Fi at home. We wanted to provide that through a grant that we thought that we were told that we could apply for on behalf of the parents, then provide them with the hotspot so they can have internet at home. Because we believe that internet at home now is much like paper and pencil when we were in school. You have to have it. And but there was so much red tape associated with us doing it and so many restrictions. So it's better if the parents apply on their own. So we're going to help them. So that's something else Parent University will be able to do, provide them with access to resources that they can better get on their own than us providing for them. And you see that logo was intentional. We undergird the family with the parents being in a stable environment, then the children can blossom and flourish. And so we really appreciate our partnership with our parents. And Parent University is going to be another new initiative that we're going to implement with our new strategic plan, Future Ready. And then Level Up. Level Up, if you remember, is a workforce development and economic empowerment initiative of the school system where we work with the adult family members of our students. A lot of our families and parents, guardians, they work every day, great work ethic, but they don't have the skill set needed in the workforce to have a job that pays a living wage. They get stuck in dead-end jobs because they don't have the skills needed to get a high demand, high wage job. So Level Up was a partnership we had through Georgia Power, our funding partner, with a 4-year grant that's ended. Also with several different community organizations that provided job skills training in high demand career fields. So we had to shift. When the funding ran out, we had to shift. The folks that used to provide support for our CNA program they're no longer, they can't do it for free. And so we work with Albany Tech. Thank you, Mr. Davis, again. Work with Albany Tech and Ms. Griswold. We have an inside track with Albany Tech. I happen to be the board chair of Albany Tech, but Dr. Griswold, our family and youth engagement director, is married to the president. So I said, work on him a little bit. We got to get a partnership. And so I'm not ashamed to say it. And so, but really, no, they really jumped at the chance. So we're going to do our CNA program through Albany Tech now. And because it's a high demand career field, our families don't have to pay. They get access to the Hope Grant, not the Hope Scholarship, but the Hope Grant, which provides funding to technical college students who are pursuing credentials in a high demand career field. And so they get to go to school completely for free at Albany Tech, and they'll take care of that. So that's how we're going to continue our CNA program. And we're going to continue our heavy equipment operations program through our College and Career Academy. Mr. Steve Woodward, he's going to continue that. And then we're going to launch our Construction Academy through Level Up with Mr. Burley, who's NCER credential. So when he provides the training, the participants in the program will leave with NCER certificates so that construction companies will know these folks have been trained and they're credentialed to perform the jobs. And as you know, CNA, heavy equipment operations, and construction are fields that are in demand. They pay a living wage, and that can certainly change the trajectory of many of our families. So while we work with the wraparound supports and the school-based health center, school-based dental center, school-based vision center, the additional social workers that we provide, those are addressing symptoms of the real issue. The root cause of that traces back to poverty. And so if we can impact poverty, then the need for the wraparound support services will be lessened. So we're still going to provide them, but if we keep putting a Band-Aid on and not dealing with the root cause, then we'll continue to have to provide these wraparound support services at a very high level. So we're trying to work from both ends, putting a safety net in place for those students that are in the situation, but also try to provide resources for families so that we can help them work themselves out of these situations. And so that's what we're committed to doing. Again, all school systems don't have to worry about that. We are where we are. We don't make excuses for it. We try to find solutions. And I'm proud to work with this board, with your vision, and proud to work with a great group of professionals who implement the board's vision, and with our community partners who catch hold to the vision to help make it a reality. So I'm proud. That's just a little teaser on some of the things to come in the initiatives with our new strategic plan. You'll see more as we unveil the plan next month. All right. Our legislative update, of course, we already mentioned crossover. It started earlier this month, rather. Crossover day is March 6th. Sign and die is April 2nd. Crossover day is important. That's the last day for a bill to be introduced, and it has to be passed by one chamber of the legislature in order to be considered for the rest of the session. And then sign and die is the last day of the session. A 40-day session is already producing a lot of bills that will impact education, and if passed and signed into law, and we'll give you an update on those at the next meeting. But of course, just a reminder, our legislative priorities: expansion of a pre-K classroom and early learning. There is a bill to make kindergarten and pre-K mandatory, which is not right now. The first compulsory grade in Georgia is first grade. And some of our students come to first grade trying to learn how to hold a pencil. And that's where the achievement gap begins. So we do support that bill. I don't know how, it costs a lot of money, so I don't know if they're going to pass it. But it's certainly there. The adding weight for economically disadvantaged students in poverty. Of course, Georgia is one of 6 states in the country that doesn't provide a weight for students in poverty. We advocated for that last year. We were able to get a pilot funding done at 5% above the base funding rate. The national average is 22%. So we're working to get that gap closed. And we're certainly going to work with our legislators and other funding partners to advocate for that change. Our state health benefits plan, as I may have mentioned, it went up again unexpectedly this time. So now we're paying over $24,000 a year for the employer portion of employees who get the state health benefits plan. $24,000 a year in just the employer match. 10 years ago, it was under $11,000, and now it's $24,000. That's an unsustainable path for us, and we are continuing to work on ways to stabilize that. Up to 2012, the state participated to the rate of 25% of the cost they paid for our employees. Beginning 2012. Beginning in 2013, they stopped participating at all. So the entire $24,000 per employee is the responsibility of the school system, and we're doing it. We're going to continue to do it. But for every dollar we spend on that, there's less money we can spend in the classroom supporting students. Teacher pipeline, of course, that's always a issue. The biggest thing here is the sunsetting of House Bill 385, which allows retirees to return to work full time. We're looking for that to be continued and for taking some of the restrictions off. I think there's good momentum with that, and I'm hopeful that will pass. And then next we'll go to our general obligation bonds. Any questions on the legislative update before I move forward?
No,
All right. All right. If not, we'll move to our update on our general obligation bonds. And This is just you're seeing this before the preliminary financing schedule. It's not really preliminary now. I think it's done. And so you'll see where we started the week of December 8th, distributed the revised preliminary official statement, provided comments all the way down through this week. We had our bond processing yesterday. It was very favorable. We went out to market, and the $50 million bond issue generated $57,023,232 in sources with our offering premium. With the fees that are associated with this, including our capitalized interest fund, we will have a deposit into our construction fund of slightly less than $53.5 million to finish some critical projects and to start others that the board has on its 5-year facility plan. I want to, that is up for the adoption day by the board, and then is up for adoption by the county commission on the week of February 2nd. I think it's that Monday, February 2nd meeting, and that will be presented to them. And then our pre-closing transaction will be February 9th. This is Monday. And then the transaction closing is scheduled for February 10th. So we're looking forward to February 10th to get here. And we want to thank Tommy and Tommy. Tommy's our bond counsel. And because Tommy Coleman, our local counsel, along with several people from Raymond James and others to help make this happen. And I want to thank our finance committee, particularly our chair, Reverend Bush, in his absence. We had some discussions about when is the best time to go out for this. And there was some discussion about going out last year around this time. And with good guidance, we decided to wait. We felt that the inflationary pressures were easing and that we'll see a drop in rates over the next year. And so we waited. And I asked Raymond James, the Raymond James analyst, Gabe, to do a projection to look at a comparison if we had gone out to the market this time last year versus when we went out to the market this year, what the financial impact has been. Based on his analysis, which is very detailed, and the rates that were offered in January 2025, the deposit to the rate would have been higher by about 55 basis points, and the deposit to our construction account would have been a little more than $50,100,000. With the deposit now is $53,473,000. So that's a $3.3 million, almost $3.4 million difference, cash difference in terms of what we have available to spend in our schools. We have a lower rate, so the interest that we're paying is less, and we'll capitalize the interest a year less than if we had gone out last year. So that saves us even more interest. So thanks to Reverend Bush and the Finance Committee for their guidance. Thanks to this board for seeing the benefit of waiting to go out to market. And it benefited us to the tune of about $3.4 million. And that's more money we can spend on our schools. We have a AA3 credit rating and a AA1 credit rating based on the state interceptor program for public schools. Our bond yield all in is 2.76, which is excellent for this environment. Now I have to say, last time I think we had a record. Tommy, I think our bond yield last time was 0.19. and that's when we went out a year earlier than usual because we saw inflationary pressures rising, and we got in. But I don't think we ever see 0.19 again. But it was sure fun the last 5 years. But so anyway, we're certainly thankful for the 2.76 all-in rate. Thanks to the team that put this together, and again, that team worked, and the financial impact, $3.4 million in additional funding we have available for our schools, and that's thanks to the board's stewardship and vision of our finance committee, as led by our chair, Reverend Bush. Any questions?
Board members, any question for the superintendent?
If not, we'll move swiftly. The delayed property tax revenue, as you know, we usually get our property tax revenue from the county in December, around December 20th. They requested and received an extension from the state. We will now be receiving our property tax revenue in March 20th, 3 months late. But again, in a lot of school systems have to make some difficult decisions. They didn't pay early in November, didn't pay early in December as is customary. But because of the financial stewardship of the board and Ms. Hatcher and her team, we have a very healthy reserve, so we're able to liquidate some of those investments in our reserve to meet the cash flow needs. We said TAN was also an option, but I'm happy to report, based on what we're looking at now, we're not going to have to do a TAN at all. The revenue from the county is coming in, trickling in, with the bulk of it coming in, it's going to come in March, but it's trickling in to the point where we're not going to need any infusion of cash based on the TAN. And again, thanks to the board overall, and thanks to our finance committee and our chair, Reverend Bush, for the stewardship and vision that allowed us to build a healthy reserve while still meeting the needs of our students and employees with significant investments. So thank you for that. And because of that, we're in good shape financially. No need for a TAN, and no need to make any delayed expenditures based on cash flow. So we really appreciate that. All righty. We talked about this at the last meeting. Just a reminder, you'll get, as we do our policy updates, again led by Dr. Finley, we'll get personnel sections, section G and H, presented to the board for review and adoption in February, and the other sections will follow, with the goal of having all of them completed, the revisions completed by end of the fiscal year. Celebrations and announcements. Are there any questions about of course, we're going to provide the personnel section to the personnel committee prior to going to the board, since that'll be a very detailed, very important section. Celebrations and announcements. We had our DCSS academic decathlon, and Westover High School won again, and as Coach Chun would say, for the umpteenth year in a row. So he's proud, and we're also proud of Monroe High School. They qualified as an at-large, getting an at-large wild card bid to the state round along with Westover. So congratulations to them. Spelling bee. We had our DCSS spelling bee, and congratulations to Amir Norris of Albany Middle School. This is the second year in a row that Albany Middle School won the district spelling bee, and congratulations also goes out to Atiba Garvey of Lake Park Elementary School, a fourth grader who was the runner-up, and they competed from elementary middle school students. So he certainly made a great had a great representation. And you may remember that last name, Garvey. His sister is the Athena Garvey, who was former Lake Park student now at Robert Cross, who had a perfect score on the GMAS and the math portion in elementary and the science portion, I think, in middle school. And so it's a very talented family. Right. Yes. And then we had a Find Your Grind. And again, this is in line with our academic rigor and relevance. Find Your Grind is a program that provides career exploration opportunities through virtual reality and other means for our middle and high school students, for them to get as close as you can to a hands-on experience, virtual experience, and career exploration, so they can help them understand what they like, what they don't like, and what they see as a viable career for them moving forward. We can never start too early, helping them to get a grasp of what pathway they might want to choose. And so we started in middle school. We're going to work our way back down to elementary school and start. And so the president, the founder and president was here, and they came here because of our strong usage of the program and the results we've been yielding. In the bottom left-hand corner, you see I'm there with Principal Christopher Sharp, and the founder and CEO of Find Your Grind made a visit to Dougherty County along with his team to talk to our teacher and talk to our students about the benefits of Find Your Grind and some opportunities for improvement with Find Your Grind, as they always look for ways to improve and meet the needs of our students. We want to thank them for coming, and certainly want to thank our teachers across the district for their usage to help our students find their way, begin to find their way in terms of careers. This month is National Mentoring Month, and we certainly want to, as you know, that's going to be another initiative with our strategic plan. We're laying the groundwork for that right now. But we already have several mentoring programs in place. I mentioned earlier that MCLB is mentoring with International Studies Elementary Charter School, and I spoke with the colonel just yesterday. They have over 2,000 hours of mentoring across the school. City of Albany, I think I mentioned to that as well. The first responders are mentoring at Radium Springs Middle Magnet School of the Arts. And they have had several sessions. They have one more tomorrow. The next one is tomorrow, and I've been invited to participate. So I'm going to try my best to get there to witness that firsthand. And, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Time 10 o'clock. And then the City of Albany Mayor's Reading Club, I may have mentioned to you, that's going to kick off next month, and that's going to be at every elementary school in the Dougherty County school system. And so to emphasize the importance of reading. And so we're certainly thankful for those new partners in our mentoring of our students. But we certainly don't want to forget the partners we've had in such a long time, like our fraternities and sororities and other social organizations, civic organizations have been mentoring students in the Dougherty County school system for years. So we're going to put all that under one umbrella to make sure that no student who needs a mentor goes without a mentor. But that's part of the wraparound support services that we need so desperately to provide, that we will provide at large scale. So thanks, and we want to make sure that everybody recognizes National Mentoring Month. And finally, congratulations to Mary Acres Middle School. They are the Deep South Middle School Conference champions. Of course, the Deep South Middle School Conference is comprised of all Dougherty County schools, Lee County schools, Bainbridge. We have Crisp County, Sumter County, several counties in South Georgia participate, and Mary Acres came out on top for boys basketball this year, so congratulations to them. As our coach, Arthur Anderson, and principal, Dr. Calvin Poole. Finally, our magnet applications are now open, so those folks that want to apply for Radon Middle Magnet School of the Arts, Robert Cross Middle Magnet School, Lincoln, International Studies, Lamar Reese, and any other magnet programs, the medical arts program at Mary Acres Medical Arts Program at Lake Park, now is the time. And so this is being advertised on social media and through our parent notification system. Madam Chair, that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Anyone have any questions for Superintendent? Ms.
I
Hand,
just have one.
can you cut your mic on?
It's on now. Turn it
It's on, it's on now. Thank you, Mr. Dougherty. Are we gonna recognize Robert Harvey as far as their grade level, not grade level, but their scores going from 50+% to 75%?
Yes, ma'am. We did that at a recent leadership meeting, but we are going to bring them to the board for recognition as well.
Okay, because I was really, when I went over there, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big
Yeah,
jump.
we had several schools who had in all those schools who had a 10% increase in their content mastery, a 10% increase in the overall CCRPI score, and a 100% and a 100 score, perfect score on closing gaps are all recognized at a recent principals meeting. We're going to bring them to the board for recognition as well.
Okay.
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
impressed. Okay, thank you.
We certainly thank you for bringing it to the board, so that we may carry it to the community, because some of us talk a
Yes.
lot about our children
Yes,
and their
ma'am.
accomplishments, and our professionals and our administration and all of them, and staff everywhere, about
Yep.
how well that system is doing, because some of us know
Yes, ma'am.
what's going
Yes,
on.
ma'am. There's a lot of work to be done, but a lot of great work already being
Yes,
done,
indeed.
and a lot of
And I
improvements being
love
made.
telling.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're going to give you all the information you need to
Thank you
help tell
so
the
much.
story.
I
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate that. Thank you, thank you.
All right. Any more questions, comments?
Any more comments or questions? Okay, you're,
Yeah, I do anticipate some action after the executive session. I don't anticipate it being very long.
okay, well, school board members, may I enter a motion for executive session for personnel?
Madam Chair, I move that we move into executive session for
Personnel and student matters.
personnel and student matters.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We're not in executive session. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for coming back. Will you please stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Fields. Welcome to the public to the regular board meeting. We call this meeting to order. Mr. Superintendent, do we have any public comments or presentation?
No, ma'am.
Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda
As amended, ma'am.
as amended, with the addendum?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, do we have any changes to the minutes of the regular board meeting held on January the 12th?
No.
Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move the adoption of the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Now I entertain a motion of a consent agenda. Items 2 with the personnel addendum. Item 2A. A consent agenda including 2A.
Items 2 through 9, Madam Chair.
Yes, consent.
Madam Chairman, can I respectfully request that y'all break out item 10 and vote?
She said 2 through 9, Tom.
Consent to-
I'm sorry.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did we do a motion? Okay.
I'm new.
He messed me up when he said.
Madam
that.
Chair,
Motion, Ms. Hutley.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, now can we get a motion for pulling number 9 out? 10. Yeah. Number 9?
10. This is my 10. My 10.
We're talking about the bond,
It's number
right?
10.
Yeah.
Okay. We had it on that, okay. Can I get a motion for the number 10?
Madam Chair, I move approval of item 10,
Adoption.
adoption, pardon me.
Second.
All in favor? All
Aye.
opposed? Okay, motion passes. Did you still want to say something about your finance report? Okay. Do I have any announcements or comments?
No comments, no, it's just a reminder, just a moment of reflection. The community lost two giants, I would say, recently. Bishop Frederick Williams, presiding bishop at, Gethsemane Worship Center, whose impact on the community is immeasurable in many respects. Larger than life personality. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, probably one of the most modest and humble men I know, but very impactful in this community, in education, in business, and in the civil rights movement. Mr. Adrian Earl Jenkins Sr. His funeral services were held today at Mount Zion at 11 o'clock. And of course, Bishop Williams' funeral service will be held Saturday at Gethsemane Worship Center. Just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge those two gentlemen and the contributions they made to our community and to our state.
Mr. Superintendent, board members, I had asked Ms. Rhonda to put the honoring the school board service across the nation. We will be celebrating GSBA 75th anniversary. They're asking all board members to help with that foundation as a donation of $10 for that, and each student in an area will get a scholarship in our region. So please look over the information, and I guess we'll get with superintendent when we're ready to send in our donation to support this funding, government funding. But it's not through the system, it's for each individual board member. We're asking for our 75th anniversary GSBA. If you got questions, please let me know. And again, thank you, Ms. Sanders, for putting it in. Okay, Ms. Han?
Like to also note that we also lost two other educators, Stella Pete and Annette Bullard. Lost both of those. I think Miss Bullard, I think she's gonna be buried Saturday as well. And so Miss Pete has been one of our outstanding principals for a long time.
And where's Ms.
Memorial
Bullard
services
Saturdays?
will be in February. Miss Pete's memorial will be in February. They haven't given us a location yet.
Okay, when you get that, can we make sure, so we can
Yeah.
at least get a card out to the family, Mr. Dyer?
Yes, ma'am.
For all
Certainly
those
will.
families that we just acknowledged. Okay, anything else needs to come before the Dougherty County School System? If not, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn this meeting of the Dougherty County School System.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting adjourned, thank you.